good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are here today with Jeremy McMahon, and Jeremy is with MicroTunnel. He's the CEO of MicroTunnel. He's also a fellow MSP owner. And Jeremy, if correct me if I'm wrong, but you are in Washington State, is that right?
Correct. Yep. We are
Awesome.
across the Puget Sound from Seattle. So
Okay. Well, does it rain a lot in Washington like it does in Seattle? I always hear it rains in Seattle all the time.
yeah, we're contractually obligated to tell everyone it rains all the time. You don't want to move here. Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay. All right.
When it's
Well,
beautiful here, it can't be better anywhere else. But
awesome.
you got to put up with the rain. Yeah.
There you go. Well, tell us a little bit about your experience as an MSP, how long you've been an MSP. Tell us about your company, MicroTunnel, how it came to be.
Well, long story short, started the MSP about 9 years ago.
Okay.
It started as a one-man shop and got laid off from a large software company after 19 years. And talking to some friends one day about their businesses, literal friends, and I'm hearing a lot of moaning and groaning about their need for IT support that cares about them, and eventually decided that instead of moving somewhere else to find a job that fit my needs, I have children, and all at that time, all four of their grandparents were within a mile of us, and didn't feel like moving. Um, we decided to start the software, or excuse me, the MSP business. And
Okay.
a few years back, decided to branch out and doing some software because the needs we didn't see an answer for. So,
Where'd you get your technical background?
School of Hard Knocks for the most part.
That's the best kind, isn't it?
Yeah, I started as a janitor at 15 years old after hours
Wow.
at a sign and engraving company,
Okay.
and sleeping past these machines that were doing CNC engraving of architectural signs, I said that looks fun, and I would say that's kind of, well, I mean, that's really not where I started. I guess it was my grandpa who worked for IBM all the way back in World War II, giving me a computer.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, my sisters and I gave us a computer, and that kind of got me interested in computers in my teens, early teens, and just read all the books. I read every MS-DOS manual from version, I don't know, what was it, 2.8 through when DOS quit, cover to
Wow.
cover, stayed up at night to read them. So might be a little crazy.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite. I buy the books and I never read them. Like I have a bookcase full of tech books, and my wife, she always laughs at me. We'll be in the grocery store shopping and stuff, and we'll go by the tabloid section magazines, and I'm like, oh, there's a brand new tech magazine. Let me get it. And she's like, don't even waste your money. You're not going to read it.
You're not gonna read it.
So I don't know. I'm more hands on, but
Yeah.
hey, if you can retain the information, I just get bored reading it.
It's
So
more about knowing where to go look it up when you need
uh,
it.
that's
Yeah,
it.
than retaining it.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
you've got this MSP that you're running now. Your clients are happy. You're doing a great job, and you decide to come up with MicroTunnel. I've been seeing the. I love the catchy logo. It's really cool. But what is MicroTunnel, and how did that come to be, and how'd you come up with the name MicroTunnel?
Well, that's three questions. Try to break it out, not necessarily in the same order. Uh,
I need three answers.
okay. Um, so microtunnel, I'll do what is it first.
Yeah.
Microtunnel is a cloud-based SaaS product, if you will, that manages and coordinates LOB, or excuse me, SMB share credentials between
Okay.
servers, and I use that word in quotes on purpose, and workstations. It allows the IT technician, whether that's in-house or an MSP, to use the dashboard to assign users to groups, and
Okay.
those group permissions then can be assigned to shares, printers, etc. A single click can give access to, Susie and HR to the accounting folders if they need that, instead of having to log into servers and do all this manual, or background tools with net user, net share, all that kind of stuff. So it's all done through a secured cloud dashboard.
All right, so I got a question for you. So
Sure.
you said the word server. So
Hmm.
does it have to be deployed? Is it dependent on a server operating system, or can this be like a peer-to-peer
Yep.
LAN and one workstation acts as a server?
Correct. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
air quotes. Server can be any Windows machine that has
Okay.
file and printer sharing turned on.
Okay.
Doesn't even have to be pro. It can be Windows Home. Um, and the necessary, the groups that you put people into are all handled by
Sure.
MicroTunnel. The user, um, you know, has a MicroTunnel user created in the background that is then used for a stored credential.
Okay.
Might get into the weeds a little bit here. Sorry about that.
No, you're
And
fine. You're fine. I'm curious. So does that
yep,
operate kind of like Credential Manager built into Windows a little bit?
it uses the credential manager built into Windows.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. So there's a synchronization. So if you have a user with two computers, a laptop and a desktop, and their username on one is Bill Smith and on the other one is Bill.Smith, it doesn't matter. You join those two users in the MicroTunnel dashboard, and they're treated the same on the server, no matter which of the computers they're connecting to.
Oh, cool.
If the token is refreshed, for maybe his laptop gets stolen, you can go in there and you can just hit one button to refresh the token. It generates a new token that is then deployed to the remaining machines so that there's no chance someone can drive in the parking lot and get into your file shares.
So it truly treats both separate Windows user accounts as one. It sees it as one
Right.
account.
Yeah. As far as
Wow.
again, the file server is concerned, it's Scott asking for authentication to get into this
Okay.
resource, and it handles it from that side. And those tokens refresh really fast. I think we have it down to about 20 seconds. Pretty much, you're going to have a new token
Oh, wow.
or access to a share. Can't get to it, you get a access denied, toggle a toggle in MicroTunnel dashboard. You usually don't have to wait 20 seconds, but you know, hit try again in 20 seconds. You should have access if you have permissions for it.
So, Windows kind of groups file and print sharing all together.
Hmm.
So does it manage the print sharing aspect of that as well?
It it
And
can,
not just like
yes.
a file share?
Yeah.
Like
So
what
if
do they
your
want to share
printer,
printers?
right, yeah, if you share a printer to, everyone, if you have any access on the machine, it'll let you print usually. If you lock it down, you can control
Okay.
which Windows local group it has access to, and those local groups are either adopted on installation of the server, again, air quotes, software, or when you create the group, you assign users to that group, and the people that can or can't access that is controlled through those group
Like
permissions.
HR
Hmm.
and accounting or
Yep.
something like that, they all would have their different permissions, but if they're in that group, then HR can see HR stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty slick. If you have someone you want to remove access from, you turn
Okay.
off the toggle, and they can be streaming an MP4 file off that share folder, and within 20 seconds they'll get an error, minus any
Wow.
buffering of their player, saying you don't have access. You can't access this file. So,
And that's actually a good use case scenario I can think. We get calls a lot from a client that will call us and say, "Hey, we just let so and so go. They're going back to their desk now to get their things out." That's when
yep,
you want to slide the slider
yep,
to
yeah. Or you
disconnect
can,
their access.
and we even created MicroTunnel has the option to pause a user. You go in there and
Okay.
you can basically disable them temporarily, during a
Oh, very
vacation or
cool.
whatever else, just to make sure that there's no chance that someone's brute forced their machine while they're gone or whatever, and you don't know they're having access to whatever. You can just toggle them off, and when they come back, toggle it on again, and their access is restored within a few seconds. So
Wow. Do you have to go through the same steps if you use MicroTunnel to set up a file share on Windows? Do you still, I mean, obviously you still have to create the file. You got to
correct.
create the folder and share it.
Yeah. Well, share. Yeah. Once you create the share and assign the permissions to the share to the group that MicroTunnel has either adopted or created, then
Okay.
all of the members of that group are managed through the dashboard.
Oh, very
We
cool.
do have on our roadmap adding the ability to create and assign permissions to shares.
Okay.
We've done some proof of concept stuff that we know it can be done. It's just a matter of integrating into the interface and the runners that run on the server to get all that working, and that'll be kind of our probably our next big release is the actual share user group, or excuse me, group assignment to shares. And then after that on our roadmap is actually to allow you to create shares from the dashboard. So you never have to log into that or VPN in and remote desktop into a server just to, let Jim access the photos from last year's picnic.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question, but I'm going to answer the question before you have a chance to answer it.
Okay.
The question is, who did you design MicroTunnel for? And I think the answer is any IT business owner. You designed it for yourself, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
So,
what pain points were you having with file shares?
well, so when I started the MSP, of course, I had a lot of small businesses coming on board, some 3, 4 man shops that had shares open to everyone, including an
Mm.
accounting business. Basically an Ethernet jack is all you needed to access uh, all their data. Um,
Did Sparky set that up?
yeah, I don't know. Who's probably someone's nephew, right? My
I
nephew does tech. He's a gamer.
or the
Um,
electricians. We call them Sparkies around
the
here.
Sparkies,
They
yeah.
run Ethernet cable and they think they
Yep.
know how to set up file shares properly, and
Yep.
they set the permissions to everyone. So all you have to do is just plug in. Why is that a bad idea?
Well, first of all, there's no security. Sec second of all, you have no way to um, audit. Some
Right.
businesses have some auditing requirements. There's no log files or anything anywhere that matter. Um, and obviously someone guesses your Wi-Fi password and sits in the parking lot, or like I said, manages to get an Ethernet cable into a jack in the wall somewhere. They basically could just download all your data. If you're HIPAA constrained or something like that, it can actually be a legal thing, not just
Yeah.
business loss. So that's who it's for, not just necessarily MSPs, but even internal IT teams, small, as I like
Okay.
to call it, and also does IT team in small business. There's there's a lot of different scenarios where not having Active Directory or Active Directory is just too expensive, or knowledge, you need a college degree to manage Active Directory properly. And um, so that's
Right.
that's where it came from. Is small businesses I was onboarding, I would go in there manually, and like we were talking earlier, go in there and create a local user on the server, and then
Okay.
manage that in Credential Manager on the workstation. It was all done manually. I found a product that did a almost the same thing called Jump Cloud. Some people might be
Okay.
familiar with that. It also does 1,000 other things, and it's grown from 8 or 9 years ago when I started using it to be, a very full featured product dealing largely with cloud side stuff. And it worked
Sure.
okay to synchronize credentials because your Microsoft 365 password would match your Windows login, and therefore it could match the Windows login on the server. And then all you had to do was deal with blocking the user from signing into the server directly,
Gotcha.
which was you know, I had a PowerShell script I wrote pretty quick that our RMM tool would deploy to block a user from signing in interactively and still allow the network access. So Jump Cloud was working for a while, but as they added features, the prices went up and up and up. And you have a little 4 man, 3, 4 person shop, and you say, yeah, it's $34 a user, just so you can access the file share per month. It was getting kind of expensive. Um, Again, you're asking you know excavator to dig a hole for a single flower. It's a lot of product to do one little thing.
Gotcha.
Um, I eventually spun up some custom PowerShell scripts I deployed um, through a RMM platform. We use Synchro,
Okay.
um, and it did okay. But the other guys here, as they started hiring employees, they would always have to, hey, how do you do this again? What's the little trick? Where do you get the seed key for this customer? There was a lot of fidgety stuff to it, and it was working though. There was some, security through obscurity going on with that as well.
I
I
gotcha.
wasn't quite comfortable with. And one day I was talking to one of the developers here. One of my guys is a pretty strong developer, and on the cloud services side, and I have developer on Windows side. And we're like, I bet you if we turn this into a product, other people would really be able to benefit from it. So we spent about 9, 10 months building this out as a product,
Okay.
and been using it ourselves now for 6 months with about 8 customers, I think,
Okay.
where it's the right fit.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of the background of how it came to be. I think that was the 3 questions you asked, right? What does it
Yeah,
do?
yeah, yeah.
Where did it come from? What's inspired it? And was there a third one?
Well, I've got a third one right now. What makes MicroTunnel a good fit for a customer? What makes a good customer for MicroFit
Um,
or
anybody,
MicroTunnel? Sorry.
yeah, that's okay. Anybody who has customers that
Hmm.
are smaller and don't need Active Directory, but still have a line of business app that has to run local,
Okay.
or a SQL Server Express database, where there's file shares associated with records. We see that with the medical industry, X-ray machine systems, things like that, where you have, a big file dump that has, JPEGs or whatever, and you need to have secure access to it.
Okay. Very cool. Well, how old is MicroTunnel now?
We officially launched in January as
Okay.
a product. We've been using it through bug fixing, I think, since about October, maybe September. We started using it,
Okay.
deploying it to our customers seamlessly without them even knowing about it, which was kind of one of our goals, is to be able to fully remotely deploy it without causing any downtime. And the first time you go, okay, I'm going to launch the script on 7 machines to see if anyone calls and complains, and the phone doesn't ring. Everyone's still printing and everyone still has access to their shares and everything else. It definitely was a fun moment in time. I think that was around
So,
September, October.
okay. How do you physically deploy MicroTunnel to your customers?
So once you create a organization in the dashboard, you get
Okay.
an org key. That
Okay.
org key associates it with the right uh, organization in the dashboard, and then you can either manually download the exe and double click it and pass in the org key, and whether you're installing it as the server mode or the workstation mode. Or you can there's a simple PowerShell script to do the download and deployment all at once. And that's actually
Okay. So
published
you can
on,
script it in your RMM.
oh yeah. Yeah. If I can't script it, I don't want it. That's how I live my life. Uh, but yeah, there's even a GitHub repo with some sample scripts that we have published, that link from our website, that show you how to do it. It's really pretty simple. Basically, you pass some command line parameters, and it deploys silently in the background.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Um, do y- do you have any examples of a client that you may have used it with recently that you had good success with?
Yeah, yesterday actually.
Okay.
Had a client, it's a small retail business. They have a couple of Dymo label printers attached to a machine, and they decided they wanted to be able to print jewelry labels from the other computer. And I got a call from the gal there telling me what the problem was, and I went to
That's a
micro.
USB printer, right? That's
Yes,
USB. So it's
USB
not a
printer.
network printer.
Yep, correct. You
Okay.
are right. So I jumped on microtunnel.app. I said add organization, grabbed the org key, used Synchro to run the server deployment on the machine with the label printer plugged into it.
Okay.
Um, ran the PowerShell script, from Synchro on the workstation she wanted to be able to print from. Hit refresh in the dashboard, saw both machines, adopted them. Of course, there's security. You have to manually say, yes, I want that machine in this org.
Okay.
I adopted them both. I created a group called printer users or something like that, and assigned this user on the machine, which of course the list of users is imported as well. And I was already on remote desktop or splash top onto her machines, actually both of them. So at that point, just shared the printer on the network, and on the other machine typed in // computer name, right click,
Computer
install.
name. Yep.
Yep, whole thing was like three
Very cool.
minutes. Yeah. I
Wow.
definitely felt pretty good about kind of I've never done the org on the fly with a customer on the phone before. I've always had that set up ahead of time. So,
Okay.
um,
And your client called you the IT ninja.
no, she just said thank you. It's working. I'll call
Oh,
you
well,
if I
that's
have
awesome.
problems. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Checks in the mail
Yeah. Yeah. Every month. Every
every
month.
month. I hope so. Awesome. Well, listen, MicroTunnel sounds like an excellent program. I definitely understand why you created it, what it is. So, what is your hopes for MicroTunnel in the future? What are you looking to add? Any new features? What's the future hold for MicroTunnel?
Well, the purpose of MicroTunnel originally was to do one thing well, and
Hmm.
that one thing is to manage local SMB file shares and permissions and make sure people have access to what they want. So we're not going to add anything that doesn't fit that motif. We're not planning to turn it into a Swiss Army knife of I'll do all the things.
Right.
But we do have a roadmap. It's publicly available. If anyone's interested, it's roadmap.microtunnel.app.
Okay.
Right now, the next two things we're going to add is the ability to actually add groups you've created through MicroTunnel in the dashboard through the dashboard to local shares that already exist on the server. So if you have a share
Nice.
already called accounting or something, you'll able to say yes, this, the new administrative group has access to that. And then after that
Okay.
one's done and launched, we're planning to add the ability to actually create shares on the file system, net share, slash add.
Okay.
This is how you do it manually, but we're going to add that into the dashboard. So you don't even have to log into the machine to create your shares. Um,
Very cool.
so that's the
Well,
next two steps in our roadmap right now. And I don't know of any third beyond that, other than maybe some, like we've talked about creating a CSV import for users. A
okay.
couple things like
Okay.
that we're considering. We put it all in the public roadmap. It's a fizzy board. You can see where things are at on there and go take a look.
Great. Well, Jeremy, the last question I have for you is if we have a member right now that's watching this live stream and they are interested in connecting with you and learning more about MicroTunnel and possibly getting signed on, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, to check out the site, we have a link to a docs fully fleshed out. Needs some editing because we made a few changes, but fully fleshed out doc site they can get to from microtunnel.app. They can email inquiries at microtunnel.app to ask
Okay.
questions. They can call us. Phone number is published. The Again, they can info at microtunnel.app works as well. If can't remember which it is, we set up both. The uh, Facebook, we have a Facebook group linked here on the
Okay.
ITBOG group.
Okay.
They can chat us on there too. Um, they can reach out any of those ways.
Awesome. Awesome. And look, if you are watching and you are interested in connecting up with Jeremy and his team, let them know that you heard about him from IT Business Owners Group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Jeremy, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you can get those printers going real fast with MicroTunnel. And I'll see you next time.
All right, thanks, Scott.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.